How to deal with toxic people without losing peace, Buddhist wisdom. In modern life, filled with pressure and constant change, we not only face external challenges but also encounter people who carry negative energy, those often referred to as toxic. They may be colleagues, friends, family members, or even people very close to us. They bring criticism, anger, jealousy, and words that can hurt others. The reality is, we cannot completely avoid such people. Therefore, the important question is not how to avoid them, but rather how to maintain inner peace and mental strength when we are around them. Buddhism does not teach us to escape life, but to stand firmly within its challenges. And one of the deepest lessons is how to face toxic people without losing ourselves. 1. Toxic people, an inevitable part of life. Toxic people are not something unfamiliar. They exist everywhere, in families, workplaces, and society. Some people constantly complain, criticize, and try to bring others down to feel better about themselves. Others are quick to anger, easily speak harsh words, and cannot control their emotions. When facing them, we often fall into two states. Either we endure in silence but feel hurt inside, or we react with anger, leading to conflict. Both of these approaches take away our inner peace. Therefore, what is necessary is not to change them, because that is nearly impossible, but to change how we respond. 2. A profound lesson from the Buddha. There is a well-known story. One day, a man came before the Buddha and began shouting, insulting him with harsh words. Yet instead of reacting with anger, the Buddha simply smiled and remained calm. After the man had exhausted himself, the Buddha gently asked, "If you prepare food for a guest and the guest does not accept it, to whom does the food belong?" The man replied, "It still belongs to me." The Buddha smiled and said, "In the same way, the insults you offered me, I do not accept them. Therefore, they still belong to you." This simple story contains a profound truth. We are only hurt when we accept the negativity of others. If you do not accept it, it cannot harm you. 3. Wrong reactions that make us weaker. In life, when attacked verbally, our natural reaction is to defend ourselves. Argue back. Prove that we are right. Become angry and retaliate. However, this only makes the situation worse. When you respond with anger, you are entering the same game as them. You are no longer in control, you become part of the chaos. The Buddha taught, responding to anger with anger is like adding fuel to a fire. The fire will never go out. 4. The power of silence and a smile. One of the most powerful ways to deal with toxic people is not to react. This does not mean weakness or submission. On the contrary, it is a sign of strong inner stability. When you smile while being attacked, you are maintaining control of your emotions, not giving others what they want, which is to hurt you. Preserving your dignity. Silence is also a form of wisdom. Sometimes, words cannot solve a problem, they only make things more complicated. In such moments, silence is the strongest answer. 5. Separate the person from their words. A common mistake is to equate a person with their words. In reality, people who are angry often lose control. They say things they may later regret. Therefore, instead of focusing on the person, focus on the content. If what they say is partly true, right-pointing arrow, learn and correct yourself. If what they say is false, right-pointing arrow, there is no need to prove them wrong, just let it go. This helps you avoid being pulled into negative emotions while maintaining clarity. 6. True strength is emotional control. Society often confuses strength with aggression. In reality, those who get angry easily are often mentally weak. A truly strong person remains calm in adversity, is not provoked by others' words, can control their own emotions. This is a deeper kind of strength, inner strength. 7. Practicing compassion. One of the most important keys to dealing with toxic people is compassion. This does not mean you agree with their behavior, but that you understand. They are suffering. They lack inner peace. They do not know how to control their emotions. When you see them with understanding instead of judgment, you are no longer hurt as before. Compassion helps you maintain inner peace. Avoid cultivating hatred. Stay true to yourself. 8. Prepare mentally for difficult situations. An effective way to train yourself is to visualize negative situations in advance. Imagine someone criticizing you, someone getting angry at you, and in that situation, you smile. Stay calm. Do not react negatively. This helps your mind become familiar with positive responses. So when the real situation happens, you are not overwhelmed. 9. Don't give others what they want. Toxic people often have one goal: to make you lose control. They want you to get angry, feel hurt, react. If you give them that, they have won. But if you remain calm, you completely break their script. 10. Facing rejection and criticism. No one can avoid rejection. Everyone has been misunderstood, been criticized, been abandoned. These experiences often cause pain. But in reality, they can become the strongest motivation, if you know how to use them. There are 2 ways to respond. Let it break you. Use it to become stronger. Successful people always choose the second. 11. A lesson from the Buddha's journey. Before enlightenment, the Buddha was abandoned by his companions. They believed he had given up the spiritual path. But instead of despairing, he continued his path, developed himself, held no resentment. Eventually, he attained enlightenment. Remarkably, afterward, he returned to help those who had left him. This is a profound lesson. Do not let rejection stop you. Let it push you forward. 12. Life is like an ocean. Life is not always calm. It is like an ocean. Sometimes peaceful, sometimes stormy. But it is the storms that create meaningful journeys. No one talks about a completely calm voyage. People remember challenging journeys because that is where growth happens. In the same way, difficulties, criticism, and toxic people are the storms that make you stronger. Conclusion: true strength lies within. In the end, the most important thing to understand is, you cannot control others, but you can always control yourself. True strength is not about defeating others, but about maintaining inner peace, not being consumed by negativity, living with compassion and wisdom. When you reach that state, toxic people are no longer a threat. They become lessons that help you grow. And at that point, you not only live better, but also become a source of positive energy for the world around you.
Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos.